Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers, they fired Darvin, man. They finally got rid of Darvin Ham. A lot of people were waiting for that to happen a couple minutes after the game was complete against the Denver Nuggets Game 5, but the Lakers learned that from their mistake last time. They got so much flack for firing Frank Vogel. Pretty much while he was in his press conference, he found out at the end of the basketball game, and then it was one of those situations where the flack was real. So they decided to do a little more due diligence, I guess you could say, and making sure they were more careful about how they executed this. But I thought the decision to fire him was made months and months ago. I don't think anybody who was watching this team as closely as I was pleased with ultimately how this all played out and some of his decision making. I think he knew he was gone. I think some of the stuff that we saw out there, and I'm not the only person who said this, but I thought he was trolling some of the time when he did certain things. Like, I thought that was how he was able to bleed through his real frustration was on the court. Some of the rotations he would put on the floor and win. Some of the timeouts he would call and win. It just felt like everybody was done there, him included. So the fact that they announced it now is one thing, but the fact that I knew he wasn't going to be back. Early on, I was pretty damn certain he wasn't coming back. The Lakers just had to figure out when the right time to fire him was, and it was this morning, May 3rd. So that's what's going on, man. A lot of Laker fans are extremely happy. I'm not ever really pleased to see brother lose his job. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily what we would like this to be, but the way it's set up, you got to fire him in order to replace him with the person you want, or however that goes. So you're rooting for somebody to lose their job, but just in general, you get fired, I'm not celebrating that. You know what I mean? Like, you lose your job at the telephone company, I'm not celebrating that. But in this case, you did want Darvin out of here. You definitely didn't want him back if you're a Laker fan. We just didn't. And many times I said on this phone that I would throw a party when they fired him. I don't feel like throwing a party, but I am happy that it was done for the sake of what our team is trying to become. And we're not there yet. And we need the right player and coach for our situation. Now, the thing I'm most concerned about now is who do they hire? The names that I've heard float around, of course, JJ Redick, Ty Lue, if he does get released from the Clippers in any way, which I don't know. I don't have a feel for what's going on there. But obviously the Lakers seem to think that he may be available. So if he is available, then he's the choice that I believe is best based on my limited knowledge of coaches. And that's the thing. I wouldn't necessarily be the guy to go to say who's the best coach. I've heard David Adelman, I believe is his name, Rick Adelman's son. His name is somebody that a lot of Laker Nation has been talking about. Mike Budenholzer, which I think is a redundancy of the highest order, because obviously Darvin Ham got all of his coaching decisions and the rotations and all of that stuff he got from Budenholzer. So if you're going to hire Budenholzer, you might as well keep Darvin Ham. But if you liked what you saw from Darvin Ham and you just want a little better version of it, you're going to hire Budenholzer. I didn't like what I saw from Darvin Ham, so I'm definitely against hiring Budenholzer. I feel like we'll probably end up firing him in 2 years. That's just pointless. JJ Redick, if I didn't mention his name already, definitely somebody that's been named. Who else? Assistant coach from the Golden State Warriors who used to coach the Brooklyn Nets. I can't think of his name right now. It's bothering me, but he's also been mentioned. So I'm sure they'll cast a wide net. I'm sure other names will pop up. But I think the guy that probably will get the job is Ty Lue if for some reason he becomes available. I don't think the Lakers will choose anybody over him, in my humble opinion. I don't think so. That's who they wanted 3 years ago. That's who they should have had in place. And it just depends on how things go with the Clippers, obviously. Right now, they're still in the playoffs. They got a game tonight. So I don't particularly think he's going to be just leaving the Clippers to come to the Lakers. In theory, things will have to go wrong there. But the Clippers, the rumor is that they're probably not going to offer Paul George the type of money that he wants. So the Philadelphia 76ers and the Orlando Magic are monitoring that. If Paul George ain't going to be back, and you look at what's going on with Kawhi Leonard, he hasn't been available yet again in the playoffs when they need him. The last thing I thought the Clippers would do was blow the team up right before going into a new building. I thought they would do that this year. But it looks like two of their most important pieces may not actually be back next year. And if that's the case, then I do think Ty Lue will probably want out of there. If he's not going to be coaching up a championship caliber squad, then I don't know that he wants to do the rebuilding thing. I just can't see the Clippers rebuilding when going into a new building. I really don't. I think everybody will be back because Ballmer's going to want those faces in place for that opening day. I can't imagine he would go in there with a rebuilding type situation. I can't even fathom that. So, yeah, I have my skepticism about whether Ty Lue will be available. I know a lot of Laker fans want J.J. Redick, but I just don't understand why we would hire a head coach who's a rookie without any coaching experience, not in college, not as assistant. The only thing he's known for in regards to coaching is coaching 10-year-olds. That is absolutely asinine to hire a guy like that for your head coaching job, especially when you got what we got going on. That's just not. That's not a reasonable ask. JJ, of course, is going to take the job, but he's going to hate it. As soon as he gets in here, he's going to realize how important it is that he be light years ahead of where he is. You know what I mean? Like, literally, in order to meet our expectations. I got, so many different thoughts in my mind in regards to how Steve Nash and the Nets went. That's pretty much what you're going to compare that to. Ain't no way in hell I'm hiring JJ Redick as a lead coach on this situation. I'm not hiring him as a lead coach at all until I know that he can do the job. You can't just sit down with LeBron James for 5 episodes and expect for me to think that you're the guy just because you can draw up some plays. No. I'm going to say no to JJ. I want to see JJ 5-6 years from now after he has assistant coaching experience, or maybe let the Charlotte Hornets hire him and see how he does there. If he can get Brandon Miller and them dudes doing something, then maybe we'll spin the block, pick him back up. But as far as I can tell, letting him be the guy after firing a rookie coach because it didn't work out, I think that's a nightmare, personally. I think JJ Redick probably shouldn't want the Laker job. Greed and, pride will make you sign up for a bad situation. And that's exactly what this would be for him, a bad situation. But I would love to have him be part of the coaching staff if it comes together to make sense. I'm not against us hiring him as an assistant. I think he'd be a fantastic play caller. I think his basketball IQ would help. I think he would help with shooters just in general. Sort of like Phil Handy does with dribbling. JJ can obviously do for shooting. So I'd love to have JJ as part of our organization. But as my head coach, with no experience, hell no. That's a hell no. Not for what we got going on. So yeah, I think that's bizarre, to be honest with you. I think it's a bizarre name to throw out there as head coach. So yeah, man, I heard Rajon Rondo's name also. Another guy with no head coaching experience or assistant coaching experience to my knowledge. That's not, again, another fantastic assistant coach. I want him on my sidelines, but I want him behind the main guy. You can put them both on there. That'd make me very happy. If it makes sense for what they're doing. I mean, obviously we love different names, but will their personalities work together? Would they like working with one another? Does it make sense for them as a coaching unit? All of that has to, come together to make sense. And I don't have any notion how that works. But all things considered, if Rajon Rondo and JJ Redick want to come together and be a part of a coaching staff, I love the idea of that. I love the idea of that. So, bring in, of course, bring back Phil Handy at all costs. I don't think anybody in Laker Land would be happy to see Phil Handy leave our situation. A big part of our player development is him helping those kids. So, whatever we're doing, hopefully the Lakers are wise enough to keep him around, man. That's a big deal to me. Keep him around. It's one of the first things I talk about. Hey, when a player comes here, he can work with Phil Handy. Like, if you don't keep him, somebody else is going to pick him up right away. So just keep Phil Handy. And, yeah, that's really it, man. There's not a whole lot I want to say about Darvin Ham. I appreciate that he coached our team for 2 years, got us to the Western Conference Finals last year. I don't know how much you'd credit that to him, but, hey, he was the coach when it happened. I wish him well. I do think he should go be an assistant coach somewhere and learn from what went wrong here, which was a lot, and don't necessarily expect that you'll get a head coaching job right away because a lot of the evidence shows that you're flat out not ready, bro. I'd say that to Darvin Ham. He just said, well, you weren't ready for that position. And it showed when you got here with the expectations we had. If he takes on a Charlotte Hornets type job, maybe that'd be a little better for him. But I think he should take an assistant position. And I don't think Charlotte should hire him. I don't think so. Nah, not at all. I did not like a lot of what I saw from Darvin Ham. It seemed like it was ego-driven decisions. You know, playing my homies, that type of thing. I'm gonna play dudes I get along with, guys I lean toward, that, you know, for whatever set of reasons, people I relate to more so are gonna get more from me. If you run that way, you're not built for this, in my opinion. If that's how you do things, this is not the job for you, because basketball sometimes is going to require that you put players on the floor that maybe you don't relate to, maybe aren't a part of your gang, maybe, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. You don't want just who you can get along with to be people you trust on a basketball floor, because at the end of the day, it's a result-based league, and sometimes the people that you most trust or most close to or most relate to are not going to be the best matchups nor best players for the situation. And I think a lot of what Darvin was doing, from my far-away detection, was based on a lot of that. I roll with this type of guy, so I'm going to roll and make sure he gets his. I don't like this type of guy, so I'm not really going to. That's what I was getting from Darvin. And now that he's gone, I'm comfortable saying that on camera. It just looked like he was kind of favoring certain types of people and not favoring other types of people, and I just felt like it was glaring to me. It was really glaring. And so, as a black dude, it's awkward when you see that from your own people. If it's coming from someone else, it feels uncomfortable. You understand what I'm saying? It becomes something where you start wondering what the heck that's about. And so I'm not gonna be a hypocrite and say I didn't see that. I saw that with Darvin. I saw it. And I don't think it works. I don't think it works, man. It doesn't work in basketball. It doesn't work in a lot of cases. Most cases, you're not gonna rub people the right way if you only lean toward people you can relate to or what have you. So that's how I felt about Darvin, man. That's how I feel now. I just think he should up off of that. Get up off of that. If you're gonna try to make it in this league as a head coach, that cannot be what people are detecting you do. So yeah, man, I'm very much pleased with the decision the Lakers made. I'm not happy to see anyone lose their job, but in this case, the way it's set up makes it so that you wanted Darvin up out of there quickly, so that we can start our coaching process. Get us a coach that we can roll with, that will do the job without biases, and be successful in his decision-making choices. Not just throw stuff at the wall that even when you try to assess what he was thinking when he was doing it, you come up with nothing. You're throwing stuff at the wall, but the stuff that you're throwing doesn't even make any sense when it leaves your hand. I'd like an intelligent guy to make those type of decisions. Someone that's going to be very intelligent should be the ones picking up stuff and just throwing it at the wall, rather than somebody that's not thinking at all, literally just throwing stuff at the wall. Make sure what you're throwing at the wall at least has some sense attached to the situation. And I just didn't detect a whole lot of that from Darvin. I really did not. So, man, that's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. I am pleased with the Lakers' decision. I think most of Laker Nation is very pleased with that decision. And now we move forward. Now we got to find ourselves a coach, or figure out if there's more firing to do. I don't know. I don't know if Jimmy's done firing people, but we'll see, man. Whatever the case may be, we are now without a head coach, and I think it's time for somebody to start proving themselves to be the guy that we should get. And I think we should cast a very wide net to make that possibility happen. So that's really what it is, man. That's what I have to say for now. If anything else comes up, of course, I'll give you a video. But for now, Darvin Ham out as LA Lakers coach. And that's pretty much it. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.